Hi guys, welcome back to my channel Lush Gardener. So there is a recurring question that keeps coming up every now and then. A lot of people tend to ask, how do we know that our succulent is healthy? And that's what we are going to be talking in this video. Now, of course, I'm not going to be talking about the soil mix in detail or about the environment. Let's say that you have surpassed this stage. You have your soil mix in place, and let's say you felt that the environment was not right outside. So you have got your succulents indoor. So now everything looks okay, but you just want to check whether everything is growing well. So there are certain misconceptions that I will clear up first. Starting off with, a lot of people tend to ask me, why is my succulent growing very slow? One of the signs that your succulent is healthy is that it is going to grow at its own slow pace. That is how succulents tend to grow. That is how nature has built them. They tend to grow very slow. Second is that, can I add fertilizers in order for my succulents to grow bigger and faster? Unfortunately, there is no shortcut. No matter how much of fertilizers you add, the succulent will grow at its own pace. But the disadvantage of adding too much of fertilizers is that your succulent is going to get weak and it's going to invite unwanted visitors like probably pests or fungus or mold. And then dealing with them is a totally new challenge which you do not want to get, because already the plant is going to be weak with excess amount of organic matter, and then you are going to start spraying insecticides or pesticides or fungicides that is further going to damage your succulent. So don't get into all these things and create a problem for your succulent. Now let's talk about how a healthy succulent tends to look like. Now you can see there are a bunch of different succulents over here. I apologize, I don't know the name of these three succulents. This is my Echeveria PVN. This is Graptopetalum Mendoza. I'm not very sure about these three. This one is definitely from the genus of Echeveria, but these two I'm not very sure. But you will be able to see the moment you look at the succulent itself will tell you a lot. That's why I say always look at your succulent and only then go ahead and either water your succulent or probably keep it in more light, because the succulent itself will give you a lot of signs. Now when you look at the succulent, the first sign the succulent will give you is it looks very compact. There is not going to be any space in between the leaves. This indicates that your succulent is healthy in terms of what light it's being getting. The succulent will be very compact. There will be colors present, again depending upon the variety of succulents. Not all succulents will change the color, but when the succulent gets that recommended amount of light, it will not stretch. It is going to be very compact. There won't be any space in between the leaves. This indicates that your succulent is very happy wherever it is placed, under whichever light it is being placed, whether it's indoor, whether it's outdoor. If you tend to see your succulent is very compact, you do not see the stem in between the leaves, that indicates that your plant is healthy in terms of light. Now again, it depends, because there are certain varieties of succulents wherein the stem becomes very visible. That is how they tend to grow over the period of time. But most of the Echeverias, you will not be able to see the stem because they are more closer to the ground. Unlike our sedums or unlike our Graptopetalums, there are some that will start to trail wherein the stem becomes visible. Now for example, over here you can see the stem is visible. This is not due to light, but this is how the plant tends to grow. So if the stems are evident in this is nothing related with light. This is how they naturally tend to grow. Now if you're going to look at my Echeveria PVN, the stem is not going to be visible, because most of the Echeverias, they do not have a very visible stem compared to other varieties of succulent. Now another thing, a lot of people get confused, and I've seen this quite often. A lot of people say that my succulent is green in color. Is something wrong with my succulent? Now always remember guys, whether your succulent is green in color, whether your succulent has intense color, both of the succulents are healthy. Over here you can see the succulent is green. That doesn't mean that the succulent is unhealthy. Probably it's not getting a lot of light, or probably the succulent does not change its color from green to any other color. Whether your succulent is green in color, whether your succulent has intense colors, both of the succulents are going to be healthy. So do not be worried about that. The next thing that you're going to notice is this is related with watering. Now if you have a balanced watering, you will notice that your leaves are going to be very plump. They are going to be very stiff. This indicates that your watering game is going on point. You do not need to be worried. You're not either overwatering it or you're not underwatering it. When you tend to see that your leaves are stiff, there are no wrinkles present on the leaves, your succulent is very healthy in terms of watering. you're not overwatering, you're not underwatering, you have a balanced watering, and that is working out really well. So keep up the same type of watering that you have been doing. Now the next thing that you're going to notice is that your succulents are flowering in their growing season. Now if this happens, this is another indication that your succulent is extremely happy with the care that you are providing it with. Apart from that, the succulent is also very comfortable in whatever location it has been kept. If you feel that your succulent is flowering in that particular location, do not move the succulent from that location. It indicates that the succulent is extremely happy. Only when succulents are quite happy and comfortable in their habitat or in their location, they will start to flower. This indicates that they have found the conditions to be ideal and they are ready to reproduce, or basically to produce some seeds and increase their generation ahead. So this is another very good indication to show you that the succulent is very healthy and happy in your location. So as I said, these are the couple of things that you need to keep in mind. Now whether you are growing your succulents outdoor, whether you're growing your succulents indoor under the grow light, they will perform really well only if you give the basic care requirements, which we usually talk about in the videos. Now whether you're growing your succulents outdoor or whether you're growing your succulents indoor, it doesn't matter, as long as you are giving all the right conditions what the succulent needs. Indoor, especially light, because a lot of people do not get a good amount of light indoor. So the grow light is a substitute to offer that good amount of light with a good amount of intensity, because other lights are not going to work out really well. But for people who tend to grow their succulents outdoor, I feel it's a little bit much easy. Again, I'm not very sure because I haven't experienced of growing succulents indoor. I tend to grow my succulents outdoor throughout the year, and I feel it's a little bit much more easy to keep them outdoor. Now I know a lot of people cannot grow their succulents outdoor throughout the year because of the extreme climate and environment. So the only option left is to grow them indoor under a good quality of grow light. Now what I have noticed is when you see that your succulents are healthy, you'll notice another important thing. When your succulent is healthy, you will not see much issues with pest attack. So it's pretty easy to keep succulents until you do not complicate things. This is something that I've also seen. A lot of people tend to use fungicide even though there is no issue with the succulents. Now of course, precaution is better. That's why even I tend to use cinnamon powder whether there are mealybugs or not. But we all know cinnamon powder is organic, but people tend to use fungicides, insecticides that do have chemicals, even though the plant is not affected with any fungus. A lot of people tend to mix it while making the potting mix. It's basically like taking a tablet for headache when you don't even have headache, but you're taking the tablet because you are speculating that you might have headache probably in 2 or 3 days. That the tablet is going to work after 3 or 4 days? Of course not. So what is the point of using fungicide when you are making potting mix when the succulent is very healthy? By the time the succulent might get fungus, the fungicide in the soil is not going to be effective, because the time you had potted the succulent, after that you might have done a couple of waterings and all that fungicide might have flown out from the pot. So when your succulent actually needs fungicide, there is no fungicide in it. So it's basically just waste of resources. Only when you tend to see that if there is any issue. Again guys, I do not recommend or I do not promote any chemical use. That's why in every video you might have seen I tend to use cinnamon powder. Cinnamon powder is one of the best way that you can reduce any kind of issues. A lot of people say that it doesn't work. Probably they are not doing it in the right way. I have been using cinnamon powder for past probably 6 to 7 years and I haven't had any issues, whether it be mealybugs, whether it be fungus. Fungus is very rare in my garden. I only tend to see powdery mildew, or I only tend to see these kind of funguses when I tend to get my succulents or when I purchase succulents, and when they come in new, that is the only time when I have seen such incidents. But other than that, I haven't seen much issues in my garden, probably because, as I said, my soil is not very organic. It's very lean in nutrients. The succulents have a good amount of air circulation because they are all out in open. There is a good amount of light. There is good amount of the sun's warmth. So probably these are all the things that tend to contribute in reducing the issue of mealybugs, pests, or fungus. But again, it all depends. If you are growing them indoor, ensure there is a good amount of air circulation, because fungus and mold, they love damp environment. They love an environment that is cooler, damp, moist, and indoors are a very perfect kind of a setup for them. Apart from that, if you're going to use a lot of organic matter, that tends to feed this mold and fungus, and then that issue tends to arise a lot. So if you want to be on the safer side, just sprinkle a pinch of cinnamon powder. Whether or not you see bugs, fungus, anything, just use it as a precaution. There is no harm with cinnamon powder. I have been using it for so many years and I haven't seen any kind of side effects that the cinnamon powder has done to my succulents. In fact, the succulents have been doing quite well. So guys, that was all about it. I hope that this video was helpful to you. If it was, please hit the like button, and if you're new to my channel, please consider subscribing to it. Until then, take care, stay safe, and keep propagating.